And welcome back to the final of the 3 videos for this exam paper. So we'll move straight on to question 21. So we've got Bella and Millie share some money in the ratio 5-2. Bella receives £10.50 more than Millie. Work out the total amount of money that they shared. Okay, so if I start, I'll set it up as a ratio. If I can get back to a red pen. So we've got B and M share 5-2. So Bella receives £10.50 more. Well, Bella receives 3 more parts. So 5 minus 2 is 3. She gets 3 more parts. So each part is going to be £10.50 divided by 3, which is 3.5. So 3.5. So that's how much each part would be worth. And we've got a total of 7 parts. So 7 parts. So the amount of money that work out the total sum of the money that they share, that's going to be £3.50 times by 7, which is going to give us £24.50. So in my answer box, I'm going to put 20 in my answer line, sorry, £24.50. Okay, and that's it for the page. So I'll go to the mark scheme. So this was question 21. So we've got 3 marks available. M1 for finding the value of 1 share or the difference as a fraction. So we go for M1 there. And then M1 for the complete method of, so that's M1 there, and then A1 for £24.50. Right, question 22. A, B, C, and D are 4 friends. Here is some information about the heights of each friend. A is 158, B is 175, C's height is greater than D's height. The median height of all 4 friends is 160. The range of the heights of the 4 friends is 21 centimeters. Work out Candella's height and Diane's height. So what I'm going to start with is I'm going to say, let's say A, B, C, and D. We've got the 4 friends, and I'm going to put some information about their heights. So A is 158, B is 175, and I know that's really all I can put in at the moment. I know that C's height is greater than D's height, so C has to be greater than D. But essentially, that's all I can put in for now. I'll call them C and D still. So the next thing I'm going to look at is their positions. If I look at the range to start with, so essentially we've got 2 out of the 4 heights. If I start by looking at the range of the values currently, so 175 minus 158, and that will essentially tell us whether if that's the range, then that will tell us that A is the shortest and B is the tallest, essentially. So 175 take away 158 is equal to 158. So currently we've got a range of 17. So we must have at least, well, we must have 1 more value that is either to make a range of 21, 4 bigger than 175 or 4 smaller than 158. So if we think about it, if we've got a mean height of 160, that means the middle height. We've got 4 people, so the middle would be the middle 2, the sort of the average of the middle 2. This one's very close to that already. This one's well above that. So this has. So I'm going to say and see if it works through. I'm going to say that this person is in position 4. I'm going to say that this person is in position 2 because it's very close to the mean. That would mean that that would mean essentially that the shortest person has to be 4 less than this. So that would mean that D would be the shortest and would have a height of 4 less than 158. So 158 minus 4. So that would be 154. So I'll put that in there. And then let's just see whether that works. So now we've got the correct range and I need my median value. So my third position, and it needs to be 2 bigger than the median because this one is 2 smaller than the median. So 162. So yeah, that's going to work out absolutely fine. So now we've got a median of 160 and we've got a range of 100 and a range of 21. So I'm saying that C is going to be 162. And that D is going to be 154. Okay, right. So if we go to the mark scheme for that, that's quite a nice AO3 bit of a problem-solving question. Right, where are we? M14 method to find Candela's height or Candela's height. Method for finding Candela's height or Candela's height or Candela's height in the wrong place on the answer line. Okay. M1 independent for finding Diana's height or, and then an A1. Okay, so we're going M1, M1, A1 for having them both correct. Right, and that leads us to question 23, the penultimate question. This diagram shows a shape made of a square and 3 identical semicircles. Okay, as shown in the diagram, the semicircles have A, B, B, C, C, D, and D, A as diameters. The area of the square is 36 centimeters squared. Calculate the total area of the shape. Okay, so essentially, we're going to have to work this out as the square plus 4 lots of the semicircle, which is actually going to be the square plus 2 lots of a full circle. So I'll just put S for now. So that's the square plus the semicircle. And then really we're almost there. We need to work out the radius because the area of a circle is pi r squared. So we need to work out the radius. To do that, we use the fact that we've got a square with an area of 36 centimeters squared. So each side has got to be equal to, can I get that in the right place? There we go. So I'm going to say that the square root of 36 is going to equal to 6. So the diameter of each circle is 6. So the radius is going to be 3, half of that. So I'm going to go straight to saying then that the total area, I'm going to call TA, total area is going to be equal to the area of the square, which was 36, plus 2 lots of pi times by the radius squared. And then I'm just going to go to my calculator for this. So 36 plus 2 times by shift pi times by 3 squared. And that gives me 92.54866 ... So if I want that correct to 1 decimal place, that's going to be 92.5. Okay, and we will go to the mark scheme then. So 4 marks for this question. That's quite nice. Let's see where the marks are awarded though. So M1 for finding the length of the square. So we pick up our first M1 for that step there. And M1 to find the area of a semicircle or a circle. Okay, so in effect, I pick up my second M mark there. M1 for complete method to find the total area of all the semicircles. Okay, so I can actually pick up a second method mark for that there. And then an A1 for the answer. Okay, right. And then final question of this paper. So we have got the diagram shows a solid cylinder made from iron. The cylinder has a diameter of 18 centimeters and a height of 3.5. The mass of the cylinder is 7.04 kilograms. Work out the density of the iron. Give your answer in grams per centimeter cubed. Correct to 2 significant figures. Okay, so Let's go straight to formula for density. Density is going to be equal to mass divided by volume. Right, so we can work out, we've got the mass in terms of kilograms. We want it though in terms of grams. So I'm going to go 7.04 is going to be equal to 7.04, not 0.4. Right, is going to be 7,040 grams. And then I'm going to look at the volume of a cylinder. So the volume of a cylinder is pi r squared times by the height of the cylinder. So in this case, if we've got diameter of 18, then the radius must be 9. So if the diameter is equal to 18, then the radius must be equal to 9. So the volume is going to be equal to pi times by 9 squared times by 3.5. So the volume of that shape is going to be equal to shift pi times by 9 squared times by 3.5, which would give me, and I'm going to leave my answer in terms of pi here because I don't want to round it. And in fact, I'm going to use my calculator to help me with this. So the mass is going to be equal to, sorry, the density is going to be equal to the mass 7,040 divided by V, and then I've got V here. So that's going to be equal to 7040 divided by the answer that I just worked out on my calculator, which gives me that for my density. So I'm going to write that down with a few more decimal digits. 7.90414 dot dot dot. So it's two significant figures, then that's going to be, first significant figure would be the 7, and the second significant figure would be the 9. So we're looking at 7.9. Sorry, and the third significant figure is a 0, so we would leave it as a 9 as opposed to rounding up. All right, let's go to the mark scheme then for that. So the mark scheme, we've got 3 marks available for this question. And it says M1, correct method to calculate the volume. So we've got M1 here. M1 for correct method to calculate the density. If volume is incorrect, then their values can be clearly labeled. Okay, so we've got an M1 there, and then an A1 for 7.9. There. Okay, and that's the paper done. Just something I quickly spotted. Start of the paper said that it was out of, was it 96? 94 it said, and then it says at the bottom of the paper that it's out of 80. No major drama, just interesting. Right, so just before I sign off, I am going to say, hope you found that useful. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drag over the mark scheme just for the simple fact that gives you a chance to look at the topic per question. So, for example, if you really struggled on question, let's say question 20, the ratio and proportions question, this table shows you what topic it is for your additional revision, which can be quite useful. Right, and then also on that, there's a suggested grade boundary. So this hasn't gone through a round of exams, so it would be very difficult to actually give a grade boundary for it. But these are just suggested grade boundaries. Okay, I hope you found that useful. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to put them into the chat, whether that's via chat on YouTube or whether it is on the chat via Teams. Thank you for your time, and I will see you soon.